speak about Australia's water issues. Yeah, just what you were telling. What is the situation with the photograph? Yeah. So what you were explaining of the map also, you just tell us.
Yeah. Okay.
With this
we
map.
we have a monsoon rainfall regime up in the very north.
Yes.
But mostly it's a very temperate rainfall. With down in the south here we have mainly winter rainfall.
Yeah.
And but the rainfall is very variable. One year you might only have 500 millimeters. The next year you might have 1,500 or 2,000 millimeters.
Okay.
So one of the main management issues for us is to make sure we save enough water from one year to the next year in case we run out for drinking purposes and other things. So we don't allocate all of our water.
Yeah.
We save it sometimes so that there's enough for the next couple of years for the most important things, the smallest things. And another thing is we have in recent years they've developed a trading system.
Okay.
So we have a water trading system where
what is
a
the
farmer
trading
can
system?
sell their water to another irrigator. And in a dry year when there's not much water to share, then people will pay a lot more for the water.
Okay.
So that the farmer that has to sell their water has an advantage because they can make money from selling the water rather than selling the crop. They sell the water, so the price goes up and down a lot between years. You have in a year with good rains, the prices are quite low for water, but in a year with bad rains, they go very high, and the farmers who are growing field crops will make more money by selling their water than by growing their crop. So this is quite an interesting result of setting up the water market. And we had a big drought in Australia between 2000 and 2009. We had very low rainfall for 9 years in a row. And everybody was getting very worried it would go on forever. It didn't go on forever, so that was good. But during this period, a lot of the small farmers sold their water to the big farmers who had you're growing almonds or growing citrus fruit or growing grapes. Those people who wanted to keep their trees alive were paying lots of money to have the small amount of water that was available.
How much of the total amount of area of Australia is used for agriculture? How much total?
Irrigated. Well, this you can't see here, but this is just a diagram here. This is an indicator of the Murray-Darling Basin.
Okay.
So this is 1 million square kilometres.
Okay.
Very large area.
Yes.
But only a small percentage is irrigated. But we transfer the water between these irrigated areas, shown with the blue dots.
Okay.
It's not a good representation, but it gives you an idea.
Yes.
So sometimes the people who are using water up here would sell their water to the people down here because these people have an almond orchard or they have a citrus orchard.
Okay.
And so they need in a dry year they need the water, and they will pay a lot more for it from the farmers up here who might be just growing wheat or pasture or for dairy farming or whatever they do. So the model helps the operators, the river operators, helps the operators run the system so that the water gets shared properly.
Okay, but the rivers, all these rivers which we can see, How is the condition of the rivers? Are they polluted or not much polluted? And how do you work for the river basin? Because your model is all about the river basin.
Yeah.
So all these rivers, what is the condition of the rivers there?
प्री-बुक सेवा
Well, it's-
आरंभ होगी। अगर आपने
we-
सीट बदली हो तो प्री-बुक सेवा
one of
के
the
लिए
main
कृपया हमारे
drivers
विमान
for the
टर्मिनल से
whole,
संपर्क करें।
modelling.
इस
What is the river conditions in Australia?
Well, I mean, one of the main reasons that we have a model of this, models in these areas,
Yeah.
and there are lots of models, not just one, but one of the reasons is for environmental flows. So to make sure there's enough left to sustain the freshwater ecosystem in the rivers. That's a big driver for Australia. We have a lot of algae problems in
Yes,
the river in
okay.
summer.
Oh.
You get the blue-green algae.
Okay.
And in previous years, like in the 1990s,
Yeah.
we had big trouble with this.
Okay.
So now we manage that very carefully.
How do you manage that?
Well, we make sure that there's enough flow so that the water is oxygenated.
Okay.
And we try to flush that sort of thing through the system.
Okay.
Make sure, because that oxygenated water doesn't grow algae. And there are lots of other means. We don't always succeed. Like sometimes there's always going to be a problem.
Yes.
It's a very dry, hot country. Like so, this internal part of Australia, this bit here,
Yeah.
this is all very dry, like a desert. Some
Okay.
bits are desert. There's some. There's great sandy desert up here and another desert down here.
Yeah.
But we call it outback. It's just
Yeah.
very, very dry country. And there's Salt Lakes system in here. It's
Okay.
all salty. And this lake here is 30 metres below sea level.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very different system. We're struggling against salt. We're struggling against lack of water.
Yeah.
We're struggling against a lot of different problems. But the models are developed so that we can investigate different ways of managing the river system.
So I was trying to understand whether there is pollution in these rivers or no. These
Well,
rivers
like,
which are there, is there you have to struggle with the pollution also?
Well, yeah, there are some issues. There'd be issues, say, like with nitrogen in the river and in some places.
No,
Like,
but industry influence?
yeah, the thing with Australia is it's a big country, and the pollution is spread very thinly, if you like.
Okay.
Especially up here, there's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
very low population level.
Low
So
population.
it's not driven by like urban pollution
Yes.
so much.
Okay.
It's agricultural or
But
like
agriculture also,
groundwater.
they are using any chemical fertilizers and all?
Yeah, but yes, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
But up here, there's not a lot of
Okay.
that we focus on really, because the population level's low. It's dominated by the monsoon system,
Okay.
and it's very different sort of. This is more the sort of traditional irrigation area.
Okay.
And this is where you have typically winter rainfall,
Yeah.
and then hot, dry summer. So we save the water in winter and we grow the crops in spring and summer.
So mainly focus area is this area only that
Well, this
your
is-
model is
yeah.
mainly focusing on.
But this is the Murray-Darling Basin. But this
Okay.
goes like this is like sort of 2,000 kilometres this
Yeah.
way to here. So like it's from Darwin to Delhi sort of distance.
Okay.
Long way. So great difference in climate.
Okay.
These up this top end we have more the summer rainfall.
Okay.
Down here is more the winter rainfall.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things to consider. Here we get floods that
Okay.
where the water floods out of the river channel
Okay.
and goes across the landscape,
Okay.
and that doesn't happen here. The river nearly always stays in the channel.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, we can.
So good.